Oh no. Welcome in, everyone, to a very special edition of the Motorsports Almanac. No guests, no events to talk about at the beginning of this show. Just the one-time, all-time list. Charles, this was an idea. I don't know if we came up with it amongst ourselves or if we
Yeah, it was. It came out of that conversation about doing the same idea with a starting field for the Daytona 500.
Yeah, we've got to do that at some point soon, too. But, Zach, you were thrown into this last minute. You're ready to go, too, ain't you?
Oh, yeah, I think I was ready way before you were.
Yeah, truth be known, I just finished mine about 9:30, 10 o'clock last night. So
same.
It's going to be a fun time. So just to go over the rules for everything. All the current classes that you see at Farm Machinery Show, but you only do one flight of them. So there will only be one class of 12 of each of them to go through tonight, and it's going to be a lot of fun. And whatever vehicle that you want to put them in, or whatever variation of paint scheme that you want to put them in, you can do that too. I've done that for a couple of mine. Charles, I haven't looked through yours completely. I'm sure you did a couple times.
Yeah.
What about you?
I just put the names down. To me, it doesn't matter what paint scheme they got.
All right. Well,
now I do have a couple that are, I do have a couple that are in different classes on different lists, though.
Mine too, actually. So, y'all, this is gonna be a lot of fun. Make sure, if you guys haven't yet, make sure you share this around. It helps us out a lot. Give us a like on the YouTube side of things. It really helps push our video out too. We have figured that out. It seems like the more likes we get, the better off we are there. So, you guys want to start with Light Pro first?
Yeah, they've had the least time there. So
yeah, Zach, you go first. You're Mr. Light Pro man anyway.
So mine and these are by means, at least my list, are not in the order I guess they're gonna finish. It's just the 12 guys that I think should be there, I guess I'll say. So number one, you can't leave Mike Palmer out. That guy's been down the track as many times as anybody in his life and has been on the ground floor of the Light Pros since the start. And this will be his third time there this year, I think. I think third time.
That's right. Yeah.
He's won it once and won it pretty commandingly when he did it. And you got to take Kendall Beasley. He won the inaugural one in 2018. And Kurt Affedal, he won it twice. You gotta give him a shake. Alan Cook, he's been there. He's never won it, but he's been there. I think this will be 4 times for him, something like that. Rich Johnson with Shag Nasty, he won it a year. Mark Wiederholt, you got to put him on that list. Jeff Michelossi, you got to put him on the list. The other Beasley, it was there one time. Dirksen from up in Canada, they come last year and was second and going to go again this year. That thing runs great. I put Matt Smith on the list just because I know he had some trouble down there last year, but we know how strong that tractor is and it deserves to be in that building.
Definitely.
Yes, Ryan Allen did make it very exciting the first year.
Yeah,
we were sitting in the top 3 area down there at the finish line when the wheel come off and everybody kind of stopped. I think everybody's heart stopped for a few seconds when that happened. Luke Ross is one of them I had on he was there last year and he'll be back this year. And then I did put Jason Forrester on there just because he was there in the inaugural year when I was in 18. And, I know it's an a pump tractor, but if you take a 540 tractor, Papa Smurf is very well known across the country.
So, oh yeah.
Yep. So there's my 12. So.
All right. So Charles and I actually put ours in a better form, I would argue.
Of course you did.
Hey, we're fancy like that. So Charles, take us through yours, bub.
I can't see it. That you can't see that at all.
Yeah, blow it up. And actually, it teases the other slides over there on the side too.
Yeah, but if I make it full on my end, then it comes across to the other screen for some reason because I've got two monitors running.
I can't even read the letters.
Oh, for goodness sake! All right, we're starting with.
There we go.
So some names that actually have already come up already, Mr. Ford. And the methodology is the same. This is just guys that should be in the building. This isn't how they're going to finish. I just randomized it, okay?
Yeah.
I do agree about Mr. Forrester and Mr. Smith, Palmer. You covered those three already. I put you guys in there. I want to see what you guys would do with another shot at it in Freedom Hall. Wiederhold, you talked about Beasley, the inaugural winner, of course. Diaz has been there with Whiskey Business, strong tractor. We all know that. Lunau Bad Binder, I've seen him do a lot of good stuff. I think he's in the conversation. I know Hopkins is up to some new stuff with what are you doing?
It is going crazy on me.
I thought I was bad for just having papers.
Good Lord. Hopkins has always been a strong tractor. I know he's building something new, so it'll be interesting to see what he comes up with. Cook been in there a bunch. Riggin, who knows what he's doing, but he won it by switching pumps and showed everybody what's up. And Michelocci, same story as Diaz. We know what he can do. He'll be a threat to do something there.
Yeah. So a lot of mine have the same on there, but it's not the exact same. That's Limited Pro. There's Light Pro. I am not organized tonight. Can you tell?
Obviously.
Yeah, so like you guys said, Kendall Beasley, High Gear Harvester, inaugural winner. Mike Palmer, Red Avenger, same reason as you guys. I put Hostile Environment in there because I can't remember if he won it in 22 or if he's won it before. Not gonna lie, I kind of find the history for the Light Pro class it kind of sucked.
There was 1 year where I could not find the results. I could find the entry, but not the result.
Yeah. Alan Cook, Black Thunder. He's done everything there is to do there except win it, I think. Kurt Afdahl, Weekend Mistress, obviously going to be in there. He won 2 years in a row. Forrester, Papa Smurf. I think that's one that we've all three, one of a few that we've had across the board. Rich Johnson, Shag Nasty. He's won it before. Wes Spencer and the Bushwhacker. I know that's kind of a throwback and the tractor's still running, but whenever Wes had it, I mean, it just seemed like everywhere he showed up to, that was a name that went around a lot. Eric Dorwin, Young Bucks Reloaded. He won it in one of the sessions that I looked up on YouTube. I think it was 20.
I honestly forgot about that tractor.
Yeah. Smiths with either one of their tractors. I mean, they've both been. The team deserves to be there as a whole, no matter which one they bring. Mark Wiederhold, Bare Necessities. Haven't heard anything from them in a while, but can't deny the success they had whenever they were running. And then Dirkson's with Unchained. Anybody want to argue with any of those?
Can't really.
Nope. And like I said, I forgot about Young Bucks Reloaded. Completely forgot about that one.
Yeah. I wish somebody could fact check me on the Hostile Environment.
I don't think they won it, Shane.
I don't remember. They
go to
so who won it in 20 then?
Didn't have or in 20, hang on. Let me go to Power and Noise. Because all the results are on there.
Does it go back to 20?
Yep.
Okay. I just didn't want to battle the website long enough.
He's got it all right in the row. So 20.
Yeah, I was trying to get to the Farm Machinery Show. What's going?
Dorwin won it in 20.
Okay, who won it in 22? I guess that would have been.
So 21, there wasn't one.
Right.
Beasley won at 19. At 18. 19, Palmer won it. Oh, shit. 22.
Yeah, Rusink, I was on the border with his. He said he put Burkholz in there for the Baker's dozen.
I would agree with that one.
22 was Shag Nasty.
Yep. 23 was Affidol.
It would have had to been Afdol.
24 was Affidol.
Okay, so Hostile Environment hadn't won it.
No.
Okay. I don't know. Seems like he got in the top 3, I think, at some point. I think. But I say I'll just go ahead and go first on 4-1 since we're here. So 4.1 limited pros. I did not make a full 12 for this just because it was too hard. The class is still too new. I mean, we're still in the very early stages of there being 2 flights of them. For a long time they only had one. So Tony McDonald won it 2 times already, and he's coming back this year. We may very well see a 3rd win there for McDonald in the well spent. Brad Boldry, Smoke Fever won it the 2nd year. Mike Sather, Adrenaline Rush, Darren Ratterman, Full Bore, Lindstrom, and Hyper Harvester, all winners since 4-1's inception, with McDonald being the only one to do it twice. The Gerlachs with the G-Force. I debated putting them in Super Farm, but the success that they've had there in the 4-1s already has been kind of fun to watch, and I think it earned them a spot here. So I had some names filled out, but I changed my mind on what I did. Hartman family at International Addiction. You can't talk about 4-1s without the Hartmans, right? I mean, you just can't. And then Justin Wagler, Real Deer. I mean, everybody remembers the success he had whenever he had the Real Deer in the 401 class. I mean, it seemed like that thing was unbeatable no matter where it showed up to. So those are my 6 that I came up. Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Those are my 8.
You're 8.
I got 12. How many did you get, Charles?
I did 12.
Yep.
Yeah. We can go ahead and do Charles's too.
You have to scroll her up there.
I'm trying to do it very easily so it doesn't go crazy.
All right. For my 12, again, random order. John Coots digging deer. Always seems to be like a front runner in 4-1 wherever they go. Bosman's been around since forever and do really well. Meyer R&D, another strong 4-1 tractor. Dixie Deer had to be somewhere in one of these lists. I had to put it in there. If you know the history of the tractor, you know why it belongs.
It has to be there.
Has to be there. I'm pretty sure Tyler Audette's Purebred Red is the cover and has been of the Champ Pull website now for several years. That belongs in there. Had to show some love to the Far Western guys with putting in Side Piece and George Blyer. Tony McDonald, we've already highlighted, 2-time winner, and he's back this year. Just makes sense. You can go to number 8.
Yeah.
For the rest, Chris Ashleyman digging for a living out of Wisconsin, strong tractor. Dean Holleke, killing time. He's going to be there this year, and I just kind of look for him to maybe show everybody a little something. Southern Adrenaline Rush, Ratterman, Full Bore, Lindstrom, Hyper Harvester. Guys, a couple of them that Shane already had mentioned, but strong category, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
Charles, you and I's list is pretty much the same. Lindstrom counts as. I did add Barker's, the Rhapsody.
Yeah, I thought about that one.
I did too. That was one of the ones that
they proved their worth last year. You know, obviously a little partial to it from fellow blue guy, even though it's got a Cummins in it. Tony McDonald, of course, Bosma's, Ratterman, Wagler's on mine. Gerlach's on mine. Jerry Martin, the 50-20 from
Ooh, okay.
Doug Ruth. You can't talk 4-1s without Ruths. I mean, you go out west, that's one of the original 4-1s out there.
Yeah.
Brad Boldry, obviously.
Yeah.
And then I had Mike Sather too. So
Sweet. All right. Let's just go ahead and roll into Superstar Diesel 4x4s. Everyone watching the comment section, put in there what class you want to see after the Diesel 4x4s.
So who's going?
You.
All right. I did 10 because they only have 10 of them instead of 12.
Okay.
Because like
12,
you said,
but
this class has kind of been, rinse and repeat. Obviously you can't leave Van Hazley off this list.
no.
He's the godfather of that deal. Kit Crowder got to be on that list. Eric Stacy, I know he ain't been there in 3 years.
Yeah, something like that.
Chase Eller, I think you got to put him on there. He's had good showings down there. Brad Dieter from back in the day, he was a winner once. Brady Ingram, the kid can drive and has proved himself down there. Sean Hodges is another one. Aiden, they've been there from the start. Calvin Miller, he's been there from the start. Keith Witt, he's been in there and going to be in there again this year, and good customer of ours, so I put him in there. And then I did put Jaden Littman in there. I know she's only been there 1 year, but she brings a crowd with her. The female aspect of things really, really pays off. And I think once she's getting a handle on that truck, and once they get it figured out, she's going to be tough to beat because she's got all the horsepower everybody else does.
I mean, she showed leaps and bounds this year alone. I mean, Bowling Green, I feel like, was kind of her statement of, hey, I'm here and I'm here to win.
And I don't know what they went through. I don't know if anybody knows what they went through last year, getting ready to go over to Freedom Hall, blow the oil filter off of it, sitting there in Broadbent when they went to start it. And they got it back together, and she still come out and made a pass. It was
Yeah. Ryan Gladsees included Doug, limited LPZ. I bet that's supposed to be LPS. I'd have added Colleen Mullenix in there as a baker's dozen. Has she ever been to Farm Show? I don't remember if she has or not.
I don't know.
Maybe not in that class. Maybe once upon a time as a full pro, like going back in time.
Ooh, I don't know. That'd be that's a good question. I'll go ahead and go with mine. Go ahead and share the screen. Yeah, so you can see a lot of mine are pretty similar. Van Hazley, obviously Rock Hard Ram, godfather of diesel 4x4s. Kent Crowder, another one of those. I went Carl Atlee, Lethal Weapon.
I forgot about that.
They had some exciting moments there in Freedom Hall and were there from the get-go. So I took Shane Kellogg out of Trump and put him back in the gotta have it.
Yep.
I love that truck, and he had success there in Freedom Hall with that one. Brian Withrow, Nut Job, another longtime diesel truck puller. Eric Stacy, Smoking UHD. I think whenever the diesel 4x4s first started at the farm show, I think he was the only single charger truck to run the first year. I think everybody else was running two, if not more.
Boy, do you guys remember the first couple of years when they couldn't make them run because they were all so cold, and everyone popped and banged, and it was maybe the first 3 years. So
yeah, and then moving them around and all that fun stuff. So
finally figured that out.
Yeah, let's see. Eric Stacy. Let's go slide number 2, please. Donnie Bowling pulling for a cure. Calvin Miller running in the red and USA East champion going back this year. Brady Ingram, Shy Diesel. Matt Clemens, Alter Ego, former winner there. Sean Hodges on Borrowed Time, another one of the OG runners of Diesel 4x4s, and Chase Eller and the Caretakers, another champion.
Solid.
Yeah. There was a couple of them I really threw back and forth. I can't remember who it is now because I don't really remember when I made those. I can't remember if that was a Sunday deal or what, but it was kind of tough. I almost put Kurt Hazley on there. That was the other one I debated on.
I debated on that one too, but I thought, Van's in there, and some of my lists going on, I've just did families,
Yeah. I almost stuck a 3.6 truck in there.
Well,
even though technically I guess Brady would be.
Brady and Kurt Hazley were. They just changed out for a bigger Charger,
With the big windmills.
Yeah. Most of the guys you have already named, so did I. I couldn't let all you Cummins guys get away with this one, though. I had to throw in the first Duramax, and as far as I know, the only Duramax to ever hook at Freedom Hall, Kyle Michael and Climax. I had to get in there. And
where's that?
Would have been interesting to see had he stuck around what he would have turned in that Duramax into. Sad that we had to lose him. Chris Ryan, the big bad Dodge out of Texas, is another truck that's a real OG truck. He never really showed in Freedom Hall what he had, but outdoors, if you ever saw it, you knew it was a good truck. So it had something in it. I had to put Dieter in there, who's a past winner of the class, and then I did put Kurt Hazley in there with Off Constantly.
I'm sure you just don't want to start reading them.
I'll just read them. Don't even fight with that stupid thing.
Yeah, go back. Let's just read them.
I think I just deleted. Now
I got it on my screen. Don't worry.
Here we go. I got it. We're good.
Yep,
okay.
You're good.
I don't know why you can't put it in presentation mode and solve that.
I don't know. It's weird. Like it fights it. I guess it's because I've got two monitors connected. It's odd. I don't know. I've never had that happen before.
Green room fights. We'll do that later offline.
Yeah, seriously.
We just closed out.
There we go. Finish it out.
No, I did. Yeah, Dieter, who's a past winner. You guys already mentioned Stacy and Eller, and then I did put Kurt Hazley in there. He was kind of in the same molds as what Ingram's do. He would throw that big Charger in there and let her rip.
Yeah. So I asked the comments to go ahead and get whatever class y'all wanted next in here. The only one I see is Super Farm next, so I guess we're going Super Farming.
All right.
This is where it gets fun because for me, this is where you look back on the past and can really put this list together the way you think it should be put together.
Yeah,
you get these OG class, and I know Super Farm's not an OG class at Farm Show. No offense, Shane, but you still got history to go back on.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I agree. You've got to move it just right, and it actually behaves. All right, go ahead, Charles.
All right. Starting first, Ryan Anderson checking out. Everybody knows the history on that one. Went back a little ways with Wayne Lamore and Fear the Deer. He's had success in there. Had to put in the Priable team top priority. They were one of the early wipeout guys that really kind of did very, very well.
Yep.
Mike Linehan, Green Power, won it at least once, if not twice. I think we won the second time that Super Farm was ever in the show there. Tony Seatsma is just a fixture of that event. I don't believe he's ever won it, though.
Wolverine Deer 3, I think, won it. It's either 2 or 3 won it.
I think Harley won it.
Yeah.
But Tony never did, which is just a surprise in a way. Josh Miley and High Maintenance, another guy who's always strong. Nick Scar, Screaming Norwegian, feels like they've been there forever. I still feel like I want to pull up the Super Farm list and see their name, even though they don't run Super Farm anymore. Cavan and Seatsma and Linehan, some of these guys, I feel like they gave birth to Super Farm, so he had to be in there, of course. This is where I had to land Wagler instead of 4.1s. he did well in Super Farm there.
Jeremy Roberts is saying he did win it in 2018.
He did. Okay. All right.
That's kind of one. That was one of the fun thing about doing this, though, is you go back and look at all the guys that you think of and how highly regarded we hold them and everything, and they have never won the farm show.
Right.
It is crazy.
Mm-hmm. Right. Had to put your brother in there. He's the winningest Super Farm. Have to. All respect. Terry Benson, I remember the Red Storm. He was the first Super Farm winner at Farm Show. The class debuted there, and he showed everybody what's up. Remember that night pretty well. And then last name down there in the bottom, hiding on you, is Ryan Salenbean and Never Satisfied.
Man, a lot of those tractors are still running today. I know my brother's old one is, and I know Salenbean's definitely is. Red Storm, it's kind of gone through some changes, but it's here with me now.
Where is Salenbean's now?
Absolutely nuts.
Okay, I was just wondering after it got out of jail, or God, I can't say that.
Well, that's okay. We can say Hammer and Hank got out of jail. Oh, shoot.
Darn.
Wait, what?
That's a green screen conversation.
Okay. All right, my Super Farms. Really similar. Terry Benson, Red Storm, first winner, like we said. Tony Seatsma, one of the first ones. Charles, I thought you said Bledsoe made yours.
I took him back out because I knew you had it on there.
Yeah. So no matter what, whenever it came to Farm Show, Red Dog was going to be in there.
Yep.
That was honestly one of my favorite ones growing up before we got into Super Farm, because he'd come down here and run every once in a while too. Norm Cavan, Magnum Force. The 2 years in a row that my brother won, I think it came down to him and Norm both years in a pull-off. The 2 years that he won it. Obviously, got to put Big Brother in there. Only driver to win it back-to-back. This other one, he's never won it. It's just purely a favorite of mine on the John Deere side, Larry Wolf and Wolfgang's Warrior. I really like the way that tractor ran there. He had some memorable runs there. Don Slama, Fast and Furious, another one of the pillars of Super Farm. The Pribble team, the first team to go back-to-back because they had separate drivers here. They won it. Josh Miley, High Maintenance. I can't believe he's never won one, kind of like Don's never won one. Mark Kohlberg, Freeport, Illinois, Propane. Only non-diesel power to place into the finals, much less the top three in the Super Farm class there. Nick Scar, Screaming Norwegian. I'm not putting Nick in the 340 sheet metal, though. I'm going back to the OG. I think it was a 7120. If I remember right, back in the early 2000s.
It was, because after he sold it, that tractor came out here to Harmon's for a while.
Yeah, I much prefer that one over the 340. And then this is where Dixie Deere went for me. I remember the year, I think it was 2011. I mean, it was 2007. He won over 50% of the polls that he went to that year. And so, for me, that's where he belongs. So, Zach, that leaves you, buddy. Everybody in the comments, get your next class ready to go.
Slama, obviously. You can't talk Super Farm without putting him in there. Tony Seatsma. Wagner landed here for me also. So that's the two he landed on. Norman Cavan. Harry Bledsoe. Of course, you got to put Darren in there. I put Freezes in here. I think they've showed their colors down there and done very well down there. Miley, of course, Nick Scar, the Casey's from Ohio with the Whoopie Maker. That thing's been stout down there. Ryan Anderson, you can't leave him out. And then I had Mark Kohlberg on my list too. That's probably, if you'd ask anybody a standout Super Farm with the flame out the stack, that it would everybody knows it.
Yep, you're for sure on that one. I don't disagree. Matt Klein, Slama has never won the final. They've been preliminary winners twice, though.
Yeah. All right. Where do y'all want to go next? This one's. Do we want to go ahead and knock out a truck?
Could do.
I got the mod 4x4 sitting next on my list, so.
Yep, that's where I was heading on mine. I'll lead off this one.
Okay.
If I can figure out how to work this thing. Just not having it tonight. Up first on mine, Holman Brothers 4-play Chevrolet. Cody Lewis fired up.
Dan's right on that. Ryan did win it back to back. There just wasn't one in 21. I forgot about that.
Fair point. Fair point.
Okay. Yeah. Huh. I'll have to go back and look at that. Steve Clem, Radical, Len Wagner, Illinois Farmer number 2. I've never heard of that one before, but it was in the list of the past champions. It was one of the last ones to have won it. Carmen Foster, Foster Child. She had an awesome pass and that place went crazy on Wednesday night whenever she won it. Peyton Davis, the Punisher. I can't remember if that was the very last one to have won it before they took a hiatus, or if that was the first one that won it when they came back. I'm pretty sure that's the one that won it when they came back. You can't talk about four-wheel drive without Terry Hagedorn kicking up dust. Ted Skeleton, The Rock, same thing. David Mills, War Wagon. Rob Foster, one of the OGs in the four-wheel drive category. Tom Timoleon, Spellbound, another one of those. He still runs in the open four-wheel drive to this day. And Buddy Jean, Nightlife. Charles, this was the one I was telling you about the other night that I think I was watching a 1991 clip, and it said in that whenever they were introducing him, he had ran every single National Farm Machinery show up until that point.
Stands to reason back then. I don't think they started till 82 or something in there. So,
well, they said he competed in every single National Farm Machinery show. So I don't know if that means that he was in something else before, or if I just misunderstood what they meant.
Yeah, could be.
Zach, you want to go ahead and go?
Yeah, I called in a lifeline on this class. Called the in-laws.
Did you really?
Had them kind of put. I had some of them, but of course, Holman's. I know they're not there anymore, but they were. You can't talk four-wheel drive truck pulling about the Holmans.
Yeah, absolutely not.
Zarings, obviously, is on that list. Take either one. My in-laws, Debbie, Nance, and Sebastian. You go way back. They're there. Barners, whichever one. There again, take your pick. Bosch, I think he's got to be on that list. Jim McGlone was one my mother-in-law said to put on there from way back. Aaron Mobley, same thing. Graham, Galen, Young, whichever one you want to look at. Galen was there way back also. Cody Lewis is one that I think you got to put on that list. Of course, Terry Hagedorn. And then the Three Bears truck with Bob Smith.
Interesting. Like it. I'm going to.
Buddy Jean ran Superstock four-wheel drives before mods.
Superstocks ran there only a handful of years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Did they really?
Yeah.
I think my father-in-law.
That would have been before my time.
My father-in-law runs Superstock in there a time or two.
So your in-laws had Night Train then, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I didn't realize that's
It's still sitting in the barn in Danville, Kentucky, between the trailer and the semi, covered with
really
carpet. just like it got parked.
Wow. All right,
you
Charlie.
don't have to mess with that stupid thing if you don't want to, but we will. Leading off, I had to go to Florida and find Glenn Davis and Mr. Sparkle. Zach already mentioned Jimmy Bosch. He belongs in the list. David Mills, War Wagon, done pretty well for himself there in Freedom Hall, so I thought he belonged on the list. Jake Zaring's been mentioned. I put him back in the Dixie Chopper, Dakota body truck.
Yeah.
Steve Clement Radical, I'm not sure that he's ever won it, but I feel like he's always there, it seems like, in my experience. Lemford A, an Intimidator Ranger. How many times can you say a guy is pulling out of West Palm Beach, Florida? That doesn't happen very often.
No.
Cody List fired up, you guys mentioned. Rob Foster, Simply Red. Lynn Wagner, Illinois Farmer, too. He's one of the last guys to really mount his body like really high on the chassis before everybody started slamming him down. Home Brothers Foreplay. All the U.S. Hot Rod videos that the local Blockbuster had, and I would wear out every Saturday morning, included a clip somewhere in it of Manuel Moreno in the Yellow Rose of Texas. So I had to put it in the list. And then Charlie Hamilton and Rolling Thunder, I thought belonged.
Wasn't he on the opening of that show?
I think he might have been. Yeah.
I think I ran across one of them on YouTube the other day. I don't know. I don't know whether Dan shared one of them on his YouTube page or not, but I ran across an opening that the other day.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, there's definitely some there's a couple of names in there before my time, but we still have Mr. Sparkle run down here on Mid-South, Charles.
Yeah, the truck is still around. It's what do you guys call it down there? Pro stock or super stock or something?
Yeah, something like that anyway.
I tell you, that pro stock program class, a lot of these trucks could end up net. We've seen them at Cloverdale, that class. Them boys put on a show.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, he won it in 2005, Charles. Clem did win it.
That was the year I missed because I think my son was being born the same week, so I didn't go. So that's why I don't remember it.
Well, that wasn't timed well, now was it?
Well, it was fun, though.
All right, boys, where do y'all want to go? Everybody watching, where do y'all want us to go? We've got heavy supers, we've got mods, we've got pro stocks, we got two wheelers.
I think you got to leave the super stock, the mod, and the pro stock for last. They've been there the longest. I think you got to leave them for the last three.
Yeah, I think so too.
So you got light supers, two wheelers.
I kind of want to go ahead and get two wheelers out of the way.
Yeah, works for me.
Yeah. Charles, yours impose some interesting ones, in my opinion.
Hey, it's my list. I'll decide.
I know. Go for it.
All right. I put in Keith Long in the Varmint. Always felt like he's done pretty well in there. You don't remember that one?
No. Whenever I was born, I've only ever known him in Willie Make It and Bullseye. That's all I've ever known him for.
I go back a little farther.
Yeah, that was before your time.
Yeah. Yep. Walsh's Irish Challenger, probably the early Ford F-150 bodied one.
So would that have been the green one with the yellow lettering on it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Old school. Mr. Cole out of Texas, he's done very, very well in the building, so I feel like he belongs on a two-wheel drive list when we're discussing the farm show in particular. Next few are some throwbacks. Dick McPherson, the Missouri Raider, and this is probably I debated whether I wanted to see it as you can't call it a T-bucket. It was a roadster with the wing on it. I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
Just something a little different. Dr. Roush and Yellow Model T. Now, he won a couple times, but I don't know. I'm not certain if the wins came with the T or the Dodge D50, but the T was cooler.
I made a mistake on mine then and just called it Yellow Thunder because that's what I've seen it as.
That's what it is now. Yeah.
Yeah. So whenever we get to mine, don't make fun of me for that one.
Yep. Randy Petro and Kathy's Complaint. History speaks for itself. Steve Jacks, pair of Jacks. It was a first gen, I think, Dodge Dakota body truck that won. I think he won in there, at least preliminaries anyway, if not finals.
What, Steve?
Steve Jacks. Yep.
Yeah, he won in a couple of years. Whatever became of them? Like, where did they go? Like,
I
what
don't
happened?
know. His
Steve
daughter
is
was driving
farming.
for a little while, but
Steve is farming in Hamilton, Tipton County, Indiana.
Okay. His daughter had a truck too.
Yeah,
I
she
think it was
won it one year, didn't she?
I think she did. Yeah.
Jessica, I
Yeah.
think was her
Jessica,
name.
yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I
Steve,
vaguely remember
Steve
that.
only lives about 20 miles south of me, 15, 20 miles south of me.
Zach, you have a new mission.
What's up?
Go find him. That'd be a fun show. I don't talk about two-wheelers too often.
Rolling on, can't really talk farm show and two-wheel drives without a Sullivan in there. I put him back to the old square body. I thought about maybe like the Rent-A-Wreck look, but kind of like the old square body S10 Kentucky.
Don't worry, I've got us covered on that front.
Awesome. Mr. Danny Hubert in the Jack Daniels S10 would also look the same. Same body style. Jim Mattingly and Jamie's Revenge. When I first started going there, it seemed like he was just everywhere all at once, all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And then Eddie Sullivan with the S10. And then last one down there, number 12, Mr. Jesse Petro.
Jesse. All right, Zach, you want to go ahead and go?
Yeah. I had Ken Lamont on mine.
Yep, that'd be a good one.
Two-wheelers and farm show. You can't leave the Midnight Express. Plano Toolbox Midnight Express. You can't leave him out of there.
No idea. That's got to be
before my time. Young, buddy.
Oh man. Now, would it be the silver and red or the black and red that was only like 1 year?
The silver and red's the one I really remember.
Yeah.
Of course, Randy Petro goes without saying. Jesse Petro, same thing.
Yeah.
The Sullivans, and I didn't put a truck with him because a lot of these guys have been in so many different trucks.
Right.
Ricky Long. Jimmy Mattingly is one I had on here. That's been there. The Nelsons from Texas.
Yeah.
I think you gotta put Roger Simon and even the boys on there. Just from the years. The Illinois Nelsons. You can't leave them off there. I know none of them are there this year, but you
Which
can't.
one?
You got to put them all on there. I mean, they've all been there at some point.
And Muma gets put in with that.
Yeah, right.
Definitely.
John Heilman's one I had on here.
Yeah.
Jason Hathaway's another one I had on here.
Wait, what?
People don't remember that truck, but yes, I forget what year it was, but he won down there 1 year.
No kidding.
Donkey. Yeah, it was a Ranger. It was an F-150 or a Ranger body. I don't remember which one. And then I had Wayne Roush on mine too.
Yeah. See, now that tells the age on between us there because I only know him for mini rods. That is the only thing I ever saw him drive.
We're sitting here talking earlier about my list. And I told Candace, I said, this is one person that I probably have on my list that nobody else does.
I mean,
I figured Charles had Ken Lamont on his. I really did.
I did.
So tell me about him. I don't have a clue.
Just Google it.
Okay.
As Chris Holdorf referred to him as the pretty boy.
Okay.
Yeah. I can remember the truck when Dad was pulling down there, and and I was very, very young. And then after that, I can remember the red and silver one. I don't remember the black one. I remember the red and silver one.
Huh. Okay. So mine, Randy Petro, any of them that he's driven there at some point in time. I put Shane Leisner, the dirt slinger, on here. I remember
the Jeep or the
Ranger, because it was the year that he jumped out of it, and the hood clip actually came up and came back down, and that engine was buried into the sand pile. I think, if I'm remembering that right, I may not be. Wayne Sullivan, Big Ed Red for me. That's what I grew up seeing him in. Jesse Petro, Buckeye Holler, Lisa Tatum, Full Throttle. First lady to win the two-wheel drive, I think.
Yes.
Yeah, like I said, Wayne Roush. I put it as Yellow Thunder because that's what I've seen it as as I've been growing up. Roger Simon, like you guys said, you can't talk about two-wheel drives. Come on, Jimmy Mattingly, can't go without him. I put Jeremy Nelson in the green and the yellow Midnight Gambler. I enjoyed that version of it.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
Yeah. Richard McPherson, Missouri Raider. See, now that I saw Richard a time or two. That was about it. Donnie Sullivan put him in either Thumper or the Rent-A-Wreck. I knew you guys wouldn't have this one on here. Brian Nelson, the Texas Stampede. You guys remember that when it looked almost like a Top Fuel dragster, and it found a way to win even with the longer body style and farm show.
Wasn't it like blue and yellow and orange and
it had a purple base and had the lime green stripe and some yellow in it? Yeah.
Shane, Tennessee just pulled in one with 28 seconds left.
Anyway, the more I don't talk about it, the more nothing will happen. Keith Long, Bullseye, like I said earlier, that's why I know them for running. And then I put Adrian Hunter out of Canada with the Hunter on there.
And boy, did he come from Canada. Wasn't he from like Medicine Hat or something? Like
Medicine Hat, Alberta, I think.
Alberta. I remember that name.
I don't think he ever won it, but he always got in the top three, it seemed like, at least on the old VHSs I used to watch. That name was there consistently.
Beautiful airbrush job on that truck, too.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Very nice.
I don't know if that one's still running or whatever became of that one. Rusing, he said, can we put Holdorf on that list somewhere just for the entertainment? Well, yeah.
Sure. We'll have him choke out Leo K at the 200-foot mark.
Dan, if you're still watching, what year did Hathaway win down there?
Wayne Roush, only guy to win both sessions in two different trucks in 1992. That's awesome. Yeah, I figured you guys would have a little more variation on the body types for y'all, though.
Yeah, I should have, but
yeah, I enjoy that. But yeah. So lights.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Was it Jason or his dad?
It may have been his dad.
Was it Art, 1991?
I don't know.
It's all good. Light Super. Yes, here we go.
Yeah. So leading off mine, whenever they made their return, it seemed like that nobody was going to be able to win besides this guy. Brian Korth won it 4 years in a row. Then Jason Hoopman turned around, went back to back, and he was the one who broke the streak. This one was a little biased for me. It did win it, but walking tall with Darren Smith behind the wheel. Of course, now we have the OG walking tall look back together, at least with the Fulks family. This was one that I kind of debated back and forth what class to put him in. Daryl Meese and the Squealer. He's ran heavy there, which I think Charles Weed decided it would have been the 7700. Yeah, but to me, that thing, I know it for light super. Kevin Lynn, 504 Rocket, definitely deserves a spot on this list. Lewis Haney, Cujo. You don't talk about light super down here in the South without the Haney family. No matter which one of their tractors, whether it's just Cujo or if it was Cujo Unleashed. Art Hathaway won in 1991 driving Spike.
What did they have a red F-150 or was that? Maybe Jason won a prelim. I don't remember, but I remember watching the truck on the videos.
Okay. Yeah, I covered Lewis. Larry Phillips, any variation of his tractor, he has had so many different paint schemes and variations of his tractor, from being diesel to being alcohol. Won it before. Mike Savey, Canadian Miss 3. It's been there a bunch of times and just in my mind, an iconic tractor. The Wilhite pulling team, again, you don't talk about light supers down here without including both Wilhites in that. Esden Lane, last diesel to run there in the light super stock class. I think it would have been 2000. Was it 2005 that they took their hiatus?
Sounds about right ish.
05, 06, somewhere in there.
I'm looking.
Yeah. He did have the honkin' donkey Ford, just didn't win the farm show. Glenn Freeze, Red Ink. Got to give a nod to one of the guys out west there with the Outlaws for sure.
2010 is when they came back.
Yeah. And then Leroy Mason and the Down and Dirty tractor made mine.
That's one I debated on putting in.
Well, variation's always a good thing. Charles, you ready to go?
Yeah, sure.
All right. Lead us off, buddy.
All right. Jason Hittman, the commander, you already identified him. Randy Payne, guesswork. This is one you and I talked about the other night. He never won.
I like it.
He was always there. Well turned out tractor, ran well.
Diesel edition too.
Yeah, diesel. Never could quite get it, close the deal. Save you identified, Canadian Miss 3. I remember that one very, very fondly. Tractor's still around these days as a light pro and running. Korth needs no introduction.
No.
Had to go back to some small chassis stuff with Doug Horrell and the Bicep 2 Magnum. I put him on the 686, not the diesel, not the stuff he's running these days. Same
Doug
with
Horrell still running?
Didn't he had a tractor out? Nah, I don't think it's been a couple of years since it's been out.
It's sold. It went.
Did it?
Out,
Okay.
Did it go out west? It was the Redline Fever 2, I think.
Yeah, it's out west now.
I think it ended up out west.
Gotcha. I thought you were talking about he had an Alki tractor. I was like, really?
No, I can't imagine that man ever doing that. Kenny Sanders in the Enforcer, another small chassis machine, didn't win, but definitely was a threat anywhere in light super throughout the 80s and early part of the 90s. Can't have a light super list without Dennis Brabeck and the Country Dude. He did get it done in that building. Mm-hmm. So hats off to him. Had to put Larry Hill in there just because he won the first 5,000 stock in 69 with awards. It's the only thing awards has ever won in that building. And he won again a handful of years later, I think with a 460, which might have made him maybe the first two-time winner in a class. I don't know. But that's going way back. I put Tom Ermson out of Pennsylvania in there. He did not win with Bodacious Binder, but how many times do you see a IH 550 on alcohol in a 5,500-pound class? It's just cool. I'd want to see it. And if it ever got figured out and then managed to run. Nice has been identified. Ken McKillop, the Smoker, another small chassis tractor that used to run in the 80s and 90s, or I don't know if he's ran so much in the 80s, but 90s, early 2000s. And then, as you mentioned, the 504 Rocket, and specifically the New Holland with the trash can stack on it.
You're going to take me to school on these now. Kenny Sanders, Larry Hill, Tom Ermison.
Smoker's still around.
It's a light limited now on alcohol.
It was at Cloverdale.
Yep.
Yeah, there's a lot of those I don't know. All right, Zach, you're up.
Larry Phillips, like you said, any variation, he's been on anything and everything down there. The Wilhite brothers. I think you got to put Terry Blackburn on that list. He's won it 3 times on Mike Chiswick's tractors. Hoopman, of course, we've talked about it. Korth. Ken McKillop, which is the Smoker. A lot of years of legal, not legal. Daryl Meese, we've talked about that.
So what was the argument behind that? I never
Overhead
fully
cam motor.
overhead cam.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, the push rod motor. Polk Smith era with the walking tall. You know, and I don't care which one it was. What was the 8210 or the TG or not TG 8970 or whatever it was, that era. Mike Sabia, had him on my list too. Kevin Lynn with the trash can stack. Of course, the Haneys, and then I rounded out with some of Shane's relation, somewhat the Essery family. They've been They've been a staple in light superclass down there forever.
Yeah, sure. Brandy always did well there too. Whenever she ran, she got the top 3 a couple of times.
And that tractor's always been there as much as I can remember. I think you got to put them on there.
Yeah,
I debated it. I didn't want to show too much Southern bias though. All right, we're down to our final 3. Where do we go?
You got super stock, mod, and pro stock. Break it up. 3. Diesel, alcohol, diesel. Finish with pro stock.
That's what I was leaning to. So we gotta go diesel, alcohols, diesel.
Yep.
I guess we're going heavy then. We are going heavy.
I'm kind of partial to this class.
Yeah, Bryce Terry and the Fuqua family. Yeah, the Terrys, yeah. I'll be honest, I kind of didn't think about it at the moment. The Fuqua family, they've had a lot of success in that class, but for me, they belong somewhere else. Just in my opinion.
Yeah, I left them off that list too, on accident.
Yeah. Somebody can choose to go on this one. I'm not starting this.
Who wants it?
I'm not.
Let's get them riled up. I'll do it.
Okay.
All right, do it. Let's go.
All right. First one I had to pick, I had to go for some quad squad guys. John Lancaster and the Entertainer.
Wow.
D21. Had to put Benny McKinnon and Old Faithful in there. I think Benny probably has started more farm shows over the years than maybe anybody. He ran perennially since the early 70s anyway. Had to put the Blagrave brothers in there with Red Horse. For me, it would be cast chassis 1066 version. No cage either. Late 90s style. Had to put John Klug in there and Red Baron. I treated heavy super as basically anything 7,700 and up. John always liked to run the real heavy classes, but interesting to see, all things being equal, like what it would be like to have these guys all slug it out together. Triple bypass, I had to put it on the list. Love them or hate them, you're on your edge of your seat to see what they're going to do next.
Yeah.
Brian Connor and Bad Medicine, when they unleashed that thing for the first time in 91 there, it just kind of tore the roof off the place. Nobody had ever seen anything like that before.
No.
Dennis Goodwin and Magnum Force was always just a perennial threat. I would put it, if I had to pick a particular style, it would be the bare aluminum hood because he'd blown it off and decided he just wasn't going to paint it again because he knew it would do it again. Dave Stengel and Solid Junk. I don't think Mr. Stengel ever won a farm show, but you can't talk super stock without that machine being a part of it. Danny Dean and the Rooster needs to be in there. Jordan Lustig and the Silver Bullet's been very successful at farm show. I would probably go back to the hybrid chassis days, early 2000s for that version of that one. Terry Blackburn and Slow Ride, but it would not be the MX. It would be the Magnum. And then Esden Lane, pick a Redline Fever. I don't care. Any one of them. My personal favorite is the last of the cast. That was my favorite version of that tractor.
Y'all are going to hate my opinion on this. I loved Redline Fever too. I loved it.
You know what? We had a nickname for those back around the time that was out there.
What's that?
Manatee.
All right, Zach, go for it.
Oh, I'm going to go back a little ways just because of the history here, but you can't leave Rob Russell off that list.
It was
that
tough
where
for
you
me
put
too.
him?
It was hard for me too.
The boxcar days, the Connor brothers, of course, we talked about it. Jordan Lustig, I think you got to go back, like Charles said, to the original, which was the Bad Medicine, or the first, what I would call Agco sheet metal, the off white, pearl white color type of deal. Jeff Hurt, I think he's somebody that's got to be on that super stock list. I like it back in the of course the 8,000 series Alice days. That's a tough one to give up. The Larry Roberts crew. I don't care which one you take, which one you put them on there. The 5 or 6 years, 7 years they were there.
Tim Howell absolutely just
they were
the
tough to be
sand pile
handled.
behind.
Terry Blackburn, I'm with Charles. I'm going to go back to the Magnum.
Right.
Esden Lane, I think you got to go back to the original with the wheel weights and the one that broke the tire off and fell on top of the smoke tube in 91. Which, of course, Brian Schrammick, I think from 1993 on, you can't leave him off there because obviously that tractor, some know, some don't, that tractor originated here in Greentown, Indiana.
No kidding. Whose was it?
Ours. Dad's. Mm-hmm. They bought it, and then he bought it off my dad after Farm Show in 91.
No kidding.
Yep. And then I put my dad on there. I just texted him a second ago, and I said, how many years do you pull at Farm Show? He said, I think it was either 15 or 16 years. Never won it, was second numerous times. Could always make a blistering first pass, and if he didn't have to have a pull-off, he could have won it numerous times, but could never make a second pass. Arnie and Joe Kwiatkowski, I'm going to go back to the Arnie days with the first Magnum, one of the first alcohol Brent Long motors. The Blagraves, they're hard to leave off there.
The Arnie tractor, actually, he never won with it, but Kenny Measle did, if I'm not mistaken.
I thought Arnie won 1 year, did he not?
He might have, but Kenny did as well.
Kwiatkowski. And then I went ahead and did 13.
Yeah, he won it 1 year.
And I could have did 20 of these.
Yeah, no.
Oh, yeah, easy.
But I put Al Cook on my list.
Did you?
Mm-hmm.
See, realistically, any of the Quad Squad guys belong there. Like, all of them belong.
So for me, he would have been I would have put Al in the light super just for my lifetime.
Your lifetime, yes, but Charles and I going back in the days, and me with my dad, the D21 was the Alice Cowboy days.
Yeah.
Well, I guess that just leaves me, don't it? I'll be honest, I just made a last second edit to mine that I realized I'd messed up on.
That's why he keeps going last. You realize this, Zach?
Yeah,
No, I've only made one adjustment the whole show, I swear. So I tried to go even 6 and 6, but I just messed that up with the last one I did. Terry Blackburn, any tractor. I prefer the Magnum slow ride. Jay Fuquay, Tennessee Tracks. I remember all of us kids down here in the South, whenever we were younger, whenever he went from diesel to alcohol, we thought that the world was ending because Tennessee Tracks wasn't blowing smoke anymore. Good friends with that family. Jordan Lustig, Silver Bullet, the Blagraves, and the Red Horse. I put Larry Roberts and the Big Toy on here, even though it could be any of theirs. So whenever didn't Wild Thing become Big Toy?
Yes.
Wild Thing became Big Toy. Slow Ride became Big Toy 2, and Ryan's Toy 2 was a brand new build.
Oh, so that Slow Ride was Big Toy 2. Okay.
Didn't Larry's wife buy him Wild Thing for a Christmas present or birthday present or something?
Yeah. It was like an anniversary or something like that. He still has it sitting in his house, too. He says he fires it up every once in a while. I seem to remember an interview that was done that they said they were coming back at some point soon.
You see him around at polls every once in a while.
Yeah.
Oh, I see him at Farm Show every single year. Ross family, triple bypass, same reason. Love them, hate them. You can't deny the success that they've had.
Even back to these days, he was a lot with the red tractor.
Yeah, the OG high tech red. What would become OG high tech redneck.
Mm-hmm.
So part 2, Joe Kwiatkowski taking care of business. That tractor seemed to have a pretty good run of wins whenever I was there growing up. Brian Schromick, Youngblood. I did not know the history of that tractor, but I remember the success they had. They had a really good stretch of success. Aaron Hull, MMG 1000. They've been there for seems like ages with the Minneapolis Moline. Esden Lane, Redline Fever, Benny McKinnon, Old Faithful. And I couldn't leave my dad off this list. He never won it.
I'll allow it.
I can't.
I don't blame you.
Old man got third whenever he probably shouldn't have got third the year that he did. And if you ask him about it, he'll tell you that too. So I couldn't leave him off of there. We are now down to 2. Let's go through some of these. Redline Fever has the most Saturday Night Final wins. I believe that. Oh, Andy Gerbaugh.
I agree with
There was a lot of years there wasn't a light super class there. 7,500 being lightest, you have to have Steve Blagrave. Absolutely.
I did. Don't worry. I got you.
I agree with Terry Vincent's comment there. Eads and Coleman Wheatley's old Magnum.
Yeah.
They were tough.
We were texting each other back like, oh, what about this one or this one? Like, oh, no, we left those guys off. Yeah, there's Dad. He said made all of our own parts back in the day. Lots of fun back then. It's still fun now.
My dad tells stories about welding turbo plumbing with a coat hanger and, and doing all that stuff in the shop. And I can vaguely remember Louisville in 91. I don't really remember 90 when he was second. But I do vaguely remember 91. I do remember Brian and Denny coming and getting it after Louisville of 91.
Yeah. Oh, there was somebody else I was wanting to throw in there. I can't remember who it was now.
I mean, Charles had Klug on his list. All them original Hypermax guys. You can't leave them off. And
no,
the super stock progression over the years and that 80s and 90s era super stock pulling. I love hearing the stories. We went. About a month ago, Danny Dean was over at our house, and we went down to him and Mary and Mom and Dad and I went down to a place in Noblesville and listened to a band. And Danny and Dad, you just listen to them stories all night long. It's just crazy.
Boys Keys,
Bozy Keys.
Oh,
yeah, that's a good throwback name.
Yeah. Boy, we have got we're down to modifies and pros.
That's right. That's one we forgot. All of us forgot to put on there.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I would argue David Seifert could be put on there too with Renegade Deer.
Before it went to where pulling tractors go to die.
Yeah, kind of, sort of.
Well, that's the problem with classes like Superstock and Mod being the 2 OG classes. If we're only limited to 12 names,
it's tough.
Yeah, there's a lot that get left off.
Yeah, it's tough.
Zach, I'm pretty sure I texted you a couple of times like, well, this sucks.
Yeah.
There's too many people I want to put on here.
Yep.
Whatever has become of Up and Atom? Where did it go? What's any idea what the story is with it?
So it was a light pro for a while. For 3 years. Neil and forget the kid's name that had it out with Neil. I think it's still sitting in the shop at Neil's. I sold Neil a Krause tillage tool probably in 2012, 2010, and delivered it, and it was still sitting there in the shop. right next to the Alcohol Super. I'm sure knowing Neil, he ain't got rid of it and ain't gonna get rid of it. It's gonna sit there. Ryan.
Oh, there's no telling how many vehicles are up there still that we've kind of forgotten about.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? I'll tell you another one that has a lot of the tractors we've probably forgotten about and hadn't put on here. Cody Agent. He's got a museum.
He's got a lot of them run through there.
Yeah. I want to go and just see all
Where
of
them. Where is your brother's cast super?
Rhodes has it out there in Nebraska.
Okay. Where's the first component? Did he get cut up?
I don't know. See, now I've only ever known that one chassis. I think we're still on the first chassis that we did for the 340. I think.
No, wasn't the Magnum a component for a year or two?
I don't think so.
Wasn't? Okay, I could be wrong.
I know the motor went to Mark Ulmer, and the same year that he put that engine in the Weapon, or no, that would have been the Lost then.
Yes.
He got third in the preliminary round. And then turn around the finals, and that motor did what that motor liked to do. Whenever it was go time, it just died.
He bought the whole tractor.
Yeah, Ulmer bought the whole thing, and Rhodes has got the chassis now. The only way I can tell that's just because of the very distinct way the throttle is on that tractor. All right, I guess it's modified time. I'm excited for this one. Leading off, the man, the myth, the legend himself, Tim Engler, Mission Impossible. Joe Eder, any of them he's driven, he's got to be the winningest modified driver in the National Farm Machinery Show, right?
Tied.
Who with?
Voorhees.
Well, that's my next one on my list, Bill Voorhees. Wayne Sullivan, Kentuckian. That's where Kentuckian came in for me because I don't think I ever saw Kentuckian as a two-wheel drive. I put the Bollingers on here with the OG in gigantic letters, Money Pit. So that means the Allisons. Please. They've gotten the top three with that one. Bill Leishner, Dirt Slinger. Retberg, Moneymaker. Bob Jostock, Wild Child. Art Arfons, the Green Monster. Little secret fact about that one, that is my dad's one of his favorite ones ever. Bill Lawrence, Ready Canadian Special. John Heilman, Ohio
I got to
Gold.
stop you on Bill Lawrence and say that tractor, if you were way up in the rafters where my seats used to be, was the most awesome sound in that building ever because of the August Stage superchargers that he had. Nothing else like it.
Yeah, but I think he's the only Canadian to have won it there too, isn't he?
Oh, I can't.
I think.
I don't know. I guess I don't know that. And I don't know that.
John Heilman, Ohio Gold, and Scott Tedder. I think it would have been Mr. Twister. I know he's been. I just don't know if it would have been Mr. Twister or not.
Yeah, Scott's been there, and his dad Jack pulled Mr. Twister there as well.
Yep.
Okay. I was gonna say the YouTube video I saw Scott, and I was like, okay, yeah, there's my last spot filled. Which one of y'all wants to jump in next?
Don't matter to me.
I'll go. Voorhees, of course. You know, John Heilman,
right?
The Banner Brothers.
Ooh,
you can't talk without talking the Banner Brothers. I put Simons on here just because their dominance last year. Ricky Long, he seemed to always be able to make that modified work in Freedom Hall. Bill Eichner, he's been a staple at Farm Show for years and years. Of course, Art Arfons, Tim Engler, Wayne Sullivan. I put Craig Corzine on here. That tractor down there, and it worked very well down there.
Yeah, that was the one I kind of threw back and forth.
I put Wayne Purser on here. And then, of course, Joe Etter.
Yep.
Yeah. I have no arguments on that one. Well, that just leaves the eldest member for the
And I'm gonna get medieval on you guys with this one.
Yeah, that's kind of why I said that. I was like,
that first one I totally forgot about.
Making Bacon Special needs to be in there. I have to have an Allison tractor in there. I choose Brian Diekman, Rat Poison, 98 version, the stair step. I think he swept it that year. So that had to be in there. Joe Etter, I had to pick one tractor. It was the Odd Couple from 2000, 2001, 2002. Indoors, wherever he went, he won. He was unbeaten with that thing. And it was just
like
weird.
That was back in the Fort Wayne days, right?
Yeah, I watched that Fort Wayne video a couple weeks ago.
2 Chevys and 2 Hemis, and it just worked. Tim Angler, Mission Impossible, goes without saying. I saw a clip actually this afternoon of this one come up. Ron Headley and Betty's Headache. 2 screaming Hemis, crank to crank, and he just made it work. And he'd run everything from 5,500 all the way to the 12,000 with only 2 engines and do very well. Jim Brockman's in there with the In-Laws and Outlaws. John Heilman, you guys mentioned. Bill Leichner and the Dirt Slinger. If I had to pick one, it'd be the 3 in a row of the Ariases. Had to go another old school tractor at number 9, Mr. John Shaw, the Eastern Flyer. The Road X version, the 4 Road X, probably be the one I'd want. Bill Voorhees, Orient Express, the history speaks for itself. If I had to pick one, it's going to be the KB Olds versions and the 1-year only yellow tractor. Everybody's done red, black, red, black, red, black, red, black. The year he painted the fenders yellow, it just stood out, and I liked it. Mike Piper and Just Add Dirt, of course, and then Sullivan the Kentuckian. Just you have to.
So question here, and Dan Mayer's the one to answer this probably. Who has pulled at Farm Show in the most different divisions? It's got to be close. Bill Voorhees has got to be close to it.
And Brett Berg.
Yep.
Simon
maybe, but Voorhees had pro stock, he's had super stock, he's had a modified.
Yep.
And I've always wondered who's pulled at Farm Show in the most different divisions.
Yeah, Ron Headley was the one that bashed into the tow tractor while trying to push start it, right?
Oh, that's cute.
Don't know that story.
I don't either. Zach UK ended up getting the win, by the way.
I know. I've seen that. You did something to go down there and beat them in their home place.
Oh, don't worry. We'll trade back whenever they go up to whenever they come to our place. We'll lose that one. All right. Don't forget about Dave Walsh, the old Irish Challenger with 5 Aries. Stood in victory lane many times with him there. Yeah, that's...
Yep. The mods are another class you could go on and on and on with, I feel like.
I'll tell you what. Let's see. Headley did that in 1998 5,800 pound class. Huh. What was the question you had for him, Zach?
Who's running the most different divisions in Farm Show? I think Voorhees has got to be up there.
I think he's number 2. I think, did the Simon Says 4-wheel drive ever?
Yeah, but Roger never drove the mod or the pro stock or anything. I'm talking person.
Oh, yeah. Then if we're talking about that, then yeah, Voorhees is probably up there. It's between him and probably
Brett Berg, which he's had the super stock and mod.
It's got to be Bill.
Schrammicks had
didn't
in the pro stock.
They didn't take Unleashed in there, did they?
No, I don't think so.
It wouldn't be Adam Bauer either.
What about, did Roland Barr ever run pro, super, and 2-wheel drive there?
He did.
Ooh,
so there's another one. There's 3. Yes, Miles, agreed to it. That's why I put both of them, or put Purser on there. I watched that the other day.
What year would that have been? 06?
No, yeah, probably earlier than that.
Yeah. I'll tell you another honorable mention for mine was Doug Downs and Prayer.
And actually,
So
here's
ceramic, after
here's
this
another
year,
tidbit about the Roland Bar Bill Voorhees tie-in. The Super Stock is the same tractor.
Really?
Yes.
do what?
Hmm.
The Super Stock that Voorhees and Roland Bar drove is the
Yes.
same tractor.
And Ceramic, they got the light in this year. So Ceramic will run 3 of them now too, because he'll run the Pro Stock, the Super Stock, and the Light Super after this year.
Yeah.
Not to get off track, but that's just a cool stat to me.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. All right, it's time for the pros. I think this is the one we were all Voorhees and Purser was 09. Yeah. I don't know if I want to lead off the pro stocks or not.
I
I'll
ain't
do
got
it. I don't care.
whoever. Charles, go for it.
Yep, I'll do it.
We've already seen half your list because Mr. IT here don't know what he's doing.
That's fine.
No, I never hit pro stock.
Yes, you
That was
did.
the only one I didn't hit.
No, it come down.
Kevin Masterson, River Rat. It's goes without saying. This is going to be a kind of a Ohio Mafia kind of a class. It was going to shape up. Looks like John Wilkins, a Shotgun Red, is in there. Kevin Schmucker and Rampage between him and his son. That tractor's been around Farm Show forever. Had to put in John Lorenz and the Sneaky Snake. You really can't have one without the other when it comes to Wilkins and Lorenz. Linder Brothers belong. Had a very good history there. Larry Shopey and the Iron Dragon did well with his machine, as did Carl Smith and Night Moves. Bill Miller and Cruising Mule. If it was Saturday night, he would take probably the longest windup on the starting line, and you were on the edge of your seat by the time he dumped the clutch. It was just something really cool to see and hear and experience in my first few years going down there, and always enjoy seeing that tractor come out of Iowa. You can't have Freedom Hall without Mr. Don Masterson, and of course 2019 version. What else would it be? And then rounding it out, had to have Steve Wishmeyer in there and barely getting by. Always a tough track there. Brad Moss seemed like there was a stretch there where he kind of owned the building. Didn't seem to matter what tractor it was on, but I chose Young Buck for his. And then have to have some V Haterade in there with Mr. Cope.
V Haterade.
Which Young Buck variation are you going with?
The black one that had the TS Performance logos on it.
Yeah, that's one I like too. I like that one. All right, Zach, you're up.
So I had the Boyds on mine. Green Streak, their original Green Streak days. I watched a video just last week of when I mean, you could put Trent in there too. When Trent beat Steven to pull off that night, I remember that night. That place went berserk.
Yeah,
when Steve went down there and snuffed it, or whoever was driving it, I don't remember. But the Schmuckers, you can't leave them off there.
No.
Larry Shope, put him on there. Iron Dragon. Sue Ellen Oswald.
Keystone Cop.
The Keystone Cop. You go back in the day, she won it once or maybe twice, and it's that tractor was awesome. Carl Smith. I put Lorenz and Wilkins together. You can't have, like Charles said, you can't have one without the other.
Right.
Don Masterson, that you can't mention Freedom Hall without him. I put Scott Typin on there. In the day, he was a hard runner down there. The Wildmans, they kind of changed the pro stock world down there with that first half breed component that Engler built them. That Mickey Shorter finally put a component rear end in last year, I think.
Was that same chassis for all these years?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The Linder Brothers. I put Kevin Masterson on there, and I rounded mine out with Lance Little. He's been a mainstay in the pro stock class down there for years. And
I'm glad you put him on there because I left him out of mine by accident.
Yeah, it'd be tough to build a list without Gangrene. I know I did, but I mean, guys, he deserves it. Yep.
Yeah. Now, did he win it on what would be wheat fed at one point? I wonder how many different tractors he's won Farm Show on.
That'd be a question too.
That's Gangrene, True Grit, what would become Wheat Fed, and then Meddings. Right?
Well, yeah, the lineage is some of them component pro stocks over the years. You lose track of them things real quick.
That'd be a good. That's something I'd like to know, though.
All right, Shane.
All right, here we go. Leading it off, Don Masterson, Tinker Toy, Larry Shope, Iron Dragon. That chassis is still a light pro.
Kevin
right?
Smith over in Ohio. It's called Deer Zaster. It was for sale, but I think he still has it.
Okay.
The chassis, no, but the rear end and stuff is still the same.
Counts. Linder Brothers. I have Mike Linder on there specifically. Kevin Schmucker, Rampage. Carl Smith, Night Moves. Bill Miller, Cruising Mule. A lot of the same ones. This is where Robbie Russell came in for me. The entire time, whenever he made his return to pulling, I remember it was still white and had red lettering on the side of it. I think it was like 2013 whenever he returned back. If I remember correctly.
It's probably in the neighborhood, yeah.
Because, Dustin Hook and T-Bone. It seemed like there was a stint there where he was really the one that would carry the red banner into Saturday night for all the guys, and that was the 966 still. I would love to know whatever became of that chassis too.
I think they still got it. Didn't that thing hook as a 4-1 or a light pro 3 or 4 years ago?
I thought it did.
The same thing, yeah.
I thought it did.
And I think I only seen it one time.
Yep.
Lucian Coolers, Turn Me Loose. 2009, the pull off of him and Philip Parrish will forever be in my memories of the farm show. But Dan, correct me if I'm wrong, and either one of you guys correct me if I'm wrong. Only person to win from across the pond at the farm show.
Probably right, because there haven't been that many to begin with.
Did the Popper tractor win after Boltemeyer sold it?
I don't know if Tom Patterson ever won with it there.
That's the only other one that comes to mind.
And actually, as far as I know, like all that time that Patterson owned it, it never left, really. It stayed here the whole time.
Yeah.
Lance Little, 3 wins, Gangrene, and True Grit ×2. Okay. Maybe he won a preliminary with what would be Wheat Fed then. Lucian Coolers. He's actually making his return to Farm Show this year on the Klaus. I wonder what'll happen there, if it'll stay here, or who knows, maybe it's going over there. Carlton Cope, Warpath. Can't have it without him. John Lorenz, Sneaky Snake, and Kevin Masterson. You can't have any of these guys without it.
Dan just said it there. Luke's the only international winner.
Yeah. Man, I forgot about Zanestra's nearly won it in 2012, though. I forgot about that one.
I forgot about that thing being over here.
I don't know what they're up to nowadays. I think they're still running.
Don't they have 2 of them over there?
Yeah, there's Green Gangster and Newborn still, yeah. Man. Well, that's all the classes, boys. That was a lot of fun. I'm glad we decided to do that.
Yeah. Nobody's throwing like rotten vegetables at us yet, so.
Yeah, no, I mean, there's not one on here where I'm just like, I want to throw a rock at you and you do this for not putting that person on there. I think we did good on that.
No, it was a fun project, fun theme. I'm glad we kind of kicked that idea around and decided to do it.
I don't know if this becomes an annual thing just to change things up, or if this is just a one and done deal.
I don't know. I don't know how you do it again, really.
Yeah. I don't either. I'll tell you one I'd like to do is be an all-time Midwest Winter Nationals list, but dear Lord Almighty, we'd be here for forever.
No.
We ain't got time for that.
Yeah, ain't nobody got time for that.
What about the discussion from my idea from earlier, Shane?
Oh, I forgot about that one.
I even added him to my list.
Wait, really? T-Bone became Slow Ride.
Yeah.
Huh.
That's that silver or that gray 4-1, isn't it?
That's a black and
It's all black now. It was that
black
black maximum.
all black.
That was a new ace build, I thought.
He finally painted it.
Tin work the body might be. The body might be, yeah.
All right, Charles. Zach called me earlier today and he threw this curveball at me. And I didn't think about it, and I have to give him credit for it. We get to go through all these again. You're picking 3 to go to be in your Saturday night winner circle.
All right. I like it. I like that.
All right.
The problem is, I think there's a few classes where we're all going to wind up in the same place, and that's kind of boring.
Nope.
Never know.
I don't think so.
So we starting back from the start, light pros?
Yeah, I guess so.
Oh, we're going to do it right now. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're doing it now.
All right. I got to pop my list back up. Bear with me.
I wasn't going to tell you. No, I'm done. I got through. We always did the primary part of it. I'm not doing it again. I'm done.
Anybody in the comments that's got their top 3, put them in there.
Oh, Dad said El Nino on the pro stock side.
I had that one on and took it off 2 or 3 times.
Me too. He texted. He said, "How you gonna leave it El Nino?" I remember whenever they got DQ'd for the wheel weights coming off. I think that would have been like an 05 or 06 or something like that. Because he had the run that would have won him the class too.
That pass that Rat made, was it last year on Friday night?
Yeah, it would have been, yeah.
That was a monster.
Anybody writing these down? Because we're gonna. Well,
hey, I've got them on my little list here.
Oh, look at you!
I know.
I'm gonna write down at least what I say anyway, because I won't remember 10 minutes after.
Just write down what either says, and
I was writing a script earlier.
Which one are we doing first?
Light Pro. That's where we started.
Light Pro, back where we started. All right.
Mike Palmer.
Ooh.
Kurt Affidal. And I'm going to put Alan Cook in there because that thing has always been right there.
Are these in any particular order? Or?
No, just the top 3 are going to be in the winner's circle.
All right.
Shane, you're telling me you don't have a piece of paper in that whole place?
I've got it right here.
Okay.
I told you I had to flip my notebook. I was writing a script earlier for a video on Friday. Trying to make it at least seem like I halfway know what I'm doing. All right, I'll go. Give me Beasley in high gear. Shag Nasty and Bushwhacker.
I'm going to take Matt Smith and Fast Forward, Mike Palmer, Red Avenger, and Alan Cook, Black Thunder.
You said Fast Forward, right?
Yep.
Palmer and Cook.
Palmer and Cook.
Well, you and Zach stayed the same. I was the odd duck on that one. All right, we're go back up to 4-1s, right?
Yep. Lead us off, Shane.
Hang on, man. I gotta find it.
Jesus.
All right. Give me McDonald. Ratterman and Real Deer.
Give me Lindstrom, McDonald, and Wagler.
McDonald. That's a good shout on Lindstrom. All right, Charles.
I'll go Coots,
Ooh.
Allergy, and Ratterman.
Ratterman was your third. Who was your second?
Dean Holicky.
All right, where did we go after that? Diesel 4x4s?
4x4s.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Charles.
This will be real easy. Van Kent and Brady.
Oh,
Times 2, Shane.
Oh, come on.
That's exactly what I had on my paper.
I'm just putting you two on the top of that one as a combination. Good Lord. All right, since y'all want to be contrary, Van's going to be in mine. Give me Kellogg. Give me Eric Stacy.
It's good picks.
Yep. Carl Atley would have been a dark horse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If the wall didn't get in the way.
We could have put him in pro stock too. He ran with a weapon there.
Yep.
Shane, you're up.
What class was it next?
Super Farm.
Oh, crap. Oh, don't do that to me.
Hey.
Dang it. Do what?
Go
I gotta
for it.
find my list.
Give me brother. Bledsoe. Cavan. Zach.
I'm going to change mine up a little.
Darren,
Cavan,
Cavan, and Anderson.
God, that would be a fun pull off, wouldn't it?
Yep.
CP.
I'll go Terry Benson, Mike Linehan, and Ryan Salenbean.
I want to see all these guys go against each other to begin with. Wow. Where did we go from there? Was it two-wheeler?
Four-wheel drive.
Okay.
Give me Jake Zaring at the wheel.
Dixie.
Yep. Varners.
Ooh.
And Foster's with Carmen at the wheel.
Charles, go ahead.
Jake Zaring as well. Holman Brothers. And Charlie Hamilton.
Well, mine's just going to suck. Cody Lewis. Give me The Rock. I'll stick with Tom Tremoli and Spellbound. His daughter pulled in there too with a 4-wheeler, didn't she?
Yeah, and she's got a 2-wheeler now.
What was the name of her truck?
Charmed.
That's
Yep.
it. All right. Where do we go from here?
2-wheelers.
All right.
Charles?
2-wheelers, when you're ready, Shane.
Go for it, bub.
Jim Mattingly. Steve Jacks. And Dick McPherson.
All right.
Randy Petro, Jesse Petro, and Wayne Roush.
All right. Oh, where's my 2-wheel drive? Let's go. Give me Lisa Tatum.
And for anybody watching, we're not thinking of these in terms of like globally. This is like who's going to be on the row in Farm Show.
Yeah.
Give me Keith Long. Give me Roger Simon.
That's a good pick.
Yep.
We were all pretty different on that one. All right. After this, we went to
Light Super.
Light Super.
Shane, lead this one off. Charles and I have.
Korth. Meese. Leroy. All right. Up to y'all.
Go for it, bud.
I will go Korth, Dennis Brabeck, Kevin Lynn.
Nice.
I'll take Blackburn, Larry Phillips, and Meese.
You didn't take Korth on that one. All right. From here we went to did we go did we go Supers?
Heavy Super.
Mm-hmm.
Do we have to take the emotional part out of this one?
I did.
Okay. I will too then. You're going first.
Terry Blackburn, Esden Lane, and the Connor brothers.
Ooh. CP.
Jordan Lustick, Dennis Goodwin,
Ooh.
and Danny Dean.
Ooh, good one.
All right, give me, just to be different, give me Ross. Schramek. Fuquay. Mod. Let's see. Andy says Brad Howell, John Lancaster, and Danny Dean. Honorable mention Robbie Watson. P.S. I assume that means pro stock, right?
Yeah.
Tom.
Longenberger. God, I forgot that one.
I have no idea. Don Masterson, John Lorenz, Modifieds, Engler, Piper, and Heilman. I like it. All right, modified time.
Who's up?
I went last time.
You can go.
Angler, Eder. Do I go right to Voorhees or do I pick somebody else? Nope. I'm gonna go Arfons. All right.
I'll
Hey,
take
me,
Voorhees, Angler, and I'm gonna put Ricky Long on that list. I still think you put Ricky in that building on a modified. He's hard to beat.
Yeah. I saw them the other day. Had the chance to sit down and eat lunch with them there at the diner there in Glasgow.
I'll do Joe Eder, Bill Voorhees, and for my third one to make it, oink oink, Bruce Hutcherson.
Zach, I have to admit, I'm surprised you left Banner Brothers off that one.
I know. I just they
weren't successful in that building though.
No. The modern day kind of come to me in that one.
Yeah. All right, big one. I think this one's gonna be the most interesting one. Pro stock.
Go for it, Charles.
I will take Don Masterson, Carl Smith, and
Cope.
Yep, Cope. Read my mind.
I've been sitting here in my mind. I've just subconsciously all the time been guessing y'all.
Same place there on that one. Masterson, Carl Smith.
Which one?
What?
Which Masterson?
Carl Smith and Lorenz Wilkins.
Well, since y'all have already mentioned Masterson twice, I'll just go a different direction, just to be different. Give me
How's the Don built?
I know. Give me Shope.
That's a good one.
Cruising Mule. Give me Robbie Russell.
That's a good one.
That's it. We are done. Wow.
That was a fun twist on the end. I like that. That was good.
Yeah, no, he called me about, 11 o'clock my time today?
Yeah, probably.
He said, hey, you want to throw a curveball at it? And I said, I'm sitting here thinking it depends on what it is because I don't want to change my list anymore than I already have. No, that was a lot of fun. And everybody that watched our show, we really appreciate that. It was a lot of fun. Dan, thank you for being there.
Yeah.
And everything. Farm show's closer than we think. We've got a lot of events. We've got a couple of events between now and then. We've got Murfreesboro this coming weekend, Southern Invitational, going on Friday, Saturday.
Satsuma, Florida next weekend.
Yeah, Satsuma. There's going to be 6 5-0 pros in Murfreesboro this time. I know the 6th is going to be a good show. I'm excited for that. So, got Super Sox going on there, Super Farm, what would be 85 limited pros, 3.6 diesel trucks, 3.0 diesel trucks. I think it's modified 4-wheel drives. Maybe it's Pro Stock 4-wheel drives. I'm not sure which one. And Hot Farms are there. 10,000 Hot Farms are there. I mean, it's a loaded show. Yeah, if you guys need to find any details. Huh?
You talking about Murfreesboro?
Mm-hmm.
Light Supers.
Well, that's technically super stock there because The diesels weigh 7,000 there, but the lights still weigh like 64, I think. So yeah, that'll be a fun event. Then you got Satsuma the following weekend, and boy, oh boy, we're it's time for the crazy week. It's time for Farm Show week. We still haven't decided fully on plans there, have we, Zach, of what we're gonna do?
No, I think we should do something. Just stay tuned.
Yeah, we still got to iron out the details. We will be there. It'll be a fun time as always. If you guys see us there, come up, say hey to us. We're going to be around all week long. I think majority of everybody's going. So until then, Charles, anything you want to add in?
I got nothing. Come help me move stuff.
Nah, yeah.
It's really lightweight. It's only machine tool stuff. It's it's no big deal.
Yeah. This weekend too, guys, going on the Clash at Bowman Gray Stadium. I know everybody hates on NASCAR and all that stuff, but Bowman Gray Stadium's just cool. All the history there and all the beating and banging that's going to happen. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch. And make sure you guys stay tuned in for some more drag racing coverage coming at you. You've got Pro Superstar Shootout. I don't know if it's this. I think it's next weekend's Pro Superstar.
Yeah, so you got a week yet before that happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then before we know, World Series of Pro Model will be here. Pretty much after this weekend, U.S. Street Nationals is Ken Cortuccio's points to lose, I think, at this point. Although World Series of Pro Mod is 1.5 on the points. They can be earned there. So it's between Cortuccio, Kelly, and Mark Mickey. So be on the lookout for that. And until then, we will have a news episode going up on Friday, like we did the last one this past Friday. You guys showed a lot of positive response to that, so that'll go up. And make sure whenever you guys watch that, you guys give it a thumbs up and a share and a subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. So until then, we will see you guys later. Thanks.